So I'm here to tell you how the Patterson became the Creative Alliance and how this nonprofit that I helped found was incubated. We're in Highlandtown. We have a theater, art galleries, artist studios. We teach 1,000 kids a year in free after-school art education programs. We do amazing stuff. How do we get started? I believe we got started, like a lot of the great arts activity in Baltimore, in the riots in 1968 that decimated this city, emptied it out, and left this kind of wasteland tabula rasa that a lot of young artists, including John Waters, moved into and started doing this amazing stuff. It was cheap, it was open, and Mayor Schaefer was desperate for a new image for this city and smart enough to use any resource he could, including a bunch of avant-garde artists. Oh my God, I'm ahead of my slide. Okay, and one of the things that happened was in 1979, Doug Retzler and a bunch of other young artists worked with Stan Edmeister on the top of the World Trade Center. They got access to the top of the World Trade Center. They took Mylar, a brand new material engineered, I think, at NASA, and they tried to launch 60-foot balloons off the top of the World Trade Center on New Year's Eve 1979. Doug went on to join working with Richard Ellsbury and formed a group called the Baltimore Oblivion Marching Band. And oh my God, I can't believe I'm ahead of my slides. Okay, and in April, when 3 Mile Island nuclear power plant was melting down, the bomb for short marched on the melting nuke plant and did an ad hoc performance, guerrilla ad hoc performance, their specialty, and got a lot of national attention for it. So if you were young and if you had just moved to Baltimore like I had, this was some really exciting stuff. And my generation that was influenced by this work has gone on to help lay the groundwork for all the great stuff happening in the city culturally. Doug and Richard went on to start the ad hoc Fiascos in Wyman Park, Dell from 1983 to 1985. They were very anarchic. This is the sky curtain. This thing floated off into the, it was so beautiful. But the working process of these fiascos was very collaborative, was very innovative, was inclusive. It was sort of like what you guys are doing in a much more kind of crazy art way. But it created a process of working. It was part of a process of working that's been carried on. Steve Estes at the 1984 Fiasco collaboratively produced this giant canvas which he donated to the Baltimore Museum of Art by chaining it to their portico. At that time, there was absolutely no commitment from the bigger city to the local art scene. The director of this museum, I have on tape at the time, Arnold Lehman, saying that he didn't owe Baltimore artists or Maryland artists anything more than he owed anybody else. So our arts community wasn't happy about that. So we were working to raise the profile of the community. Well, Doug and Richard wouldn't say that because they're too Dada to say that, but that's what I'm saying. And it created amazing energy, and people like John Byrne, who founded the High Zero Festival and helped co-found Rupert's Books, all that sort of stuff, and that brought Wham City. Laura Dragul founded the 14 Karat Cabaret, and that brought Transmodern. A lot of key stuff happened. This is the BMA being infected with a local virus. This is me, which I don't know why I put that slide in there, it's so dumb. Anyway, so, me with fat arms. Myself and some other people, including Peter Walsh, that infected the BMA with a local virus, started a journal called Link, a critical journal on the arts in Baltimore and the world, which we published for 10 years. I have tons of back issues. There's tons of good art history, good writing, good poetry, fiction. And we continued to work to make this community, this city, understand how critical the arts were, not just to the art scene, but to the whole economic vitality of the city. And we were lucky, and after some years of advocating for the arts community, for the artists advocating for the arts community, we get somebody like Doreen Bolger, who really gives a shit about the arts community, who's at more underground stuff than most of us. I don't know how she does it. She's like a leprechaun. She's like, poof, there she is. So all of this has come, for me, helped me come up with how we program the Creative Alliance. And the Creative Alliance is there to advocate and present the artists of Baltimore and Maryland to you guys, the great audiences of Baltimore and Maryland, to use that energy to transform our community and our city. And it works really well. And our programs are wholly involved with the communities and the contexts and the issues. We have a bunch of Huichol Indians up there for the last 2 weeks. They just did a big program with the Indian youth from the Baltimore American Indian Center in Highlandtown. So we've raised the bar really high for programming here, the Creative Alliance has, and just this whole history that I'm talking about. And it's made this whole city is so rich in cultural programming. And if you don't understand that, you should think about it. Because for a city our size, we have cultural resources way out of scale to our city. We have some of the most creative arts programming, I would bet you, in the country. And you know, most of you guys are looking forward for where we should go, and I just wanted to show you where we came from, because I think it has some big lessons to teach us. So.